Hey there, everybody. It's Mrs. Azzaro here with another First Chapter Friday. As usual, I'm very excited about the book that I've chosen. I did choose it in honor of Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, and it is In the Tunnel by Julie Lee. Before we hear a little bit about it, I just want to make sure that you have your First Chapter Friday freebie. It's great to kind of fill this out, keep it in your reader's notebook, and keep track of books and see how much you're enjoying which ones. And when you need a new read, you can refer to them. Okay, so let's hear a little bit about In the Tunnel. Trapped in an enemy tunnel, a young refugee experiences the Korean War firsthand in this searing story of survival, loss, and hope. Myung-gi knows war is coming, war between North and South Korea. Life in the communist North Korea has become more and more unbearable. There is no freedom of speech, movement, association, or thought. And his parents had been carefully planning the family's escape. But when his father is abducted by the secret police, all those plans fall apart. How can Myung-gi leave North Korea without his dad? Especially when he believes that the abduction was his fault. Set during a cataclysmic war that shaped the world we know today, this is the story of one boy's coming of age during a time when inhumanity, lawlessness, and terror reigned supreme. With only each other, Myung-gi, his mother, and his 12-year-old sister, Yomi, do everything they can to protect one another. The gentle, quiet, bookish Myung-gi has plans to find his father at any cost, even if it means joining the army and being sent to the front lines where his deepest fears await him. So obviously, this is a story of a very serious nature. It's beautifully written, and I think it's an important book to read. Chapter 1, October 1952, Myung-gi, age 16. I am determined, unstoppable, body flinging down determined on this 10,000 where I shall go. Leap quick as an arrow up this road and go, and let the burning mountain, the mountain burning, raise its column of smoke. So this was from an author named Kim Sewall from 10,000 read. So there's a little bit of a reference in here. Listen to the first line of this book. This is the end. Myung-gi knows this because everything is in slow motion. Bodies flying, mortar shells dropping, the lieutenant's mouth moving. And all he can see is his father sitting in his office wearing his principal's suit jacket. Sorry, Alpha, he tries to say, but his father's face disappears in gun smoke. Advance forward to the top, go, go, go. It's the lieutenant, lit up by searchlights, his arm thrusting wildly toward the top of the hill. In the autumn dark, the enemy crawl out of hidden foxholes right behind the line of advancing South Korean soldiers. Watch out, Lieutenant! Myung-gi runs up the rocky slope, carrying his rifle on his back like a satchel of bullets. Because he barely got training, never fired at anyone, he didn't sign up to be a frontline soldier. He signed up to find his father. Bullets whiz past his ears. He ducks, dodges, prays for dumb luck. but still he roars, joining the chorus of others, louder than he's ever shouted, harder than he's ever pushed. And for a second, it feels right. Until a grenade flashes before Myung-gi's eyes, blinding him. He trips, rolls, drops his weapon, loses his helmet. His ankle snaps. No, Myung-gi, someone shouts. It sounds like Boy, the only other recruit who never knows what's going on. All he does is chew gum all day and hop on the American's patent tank to gawk at all the moving parts. Why so much worry in his voice? Myung-gi is falling. Down the hill, the mountainside jabbing, pounding, scraping him raw. He lands in an opening, a gigantic rabbit hole, and crawls in. He pictures himself in a cross section of the earth, positioned on all fours, pink and hairless. But no, this is no animal burrow. This is a tunnel, an enemy tunnel. A dusty wind blows in his face, stifles his breathing, narrows the walls. He coughs and sputters. A terrible crash slams the hillside. Myung-gi flattens himself, covers his head. Bits of rock and dirt rain down on him. Parts of the tunnel are collapsing. He can no longer see the way he came in. And it's not just because of his glasses, which are now cracked. Walls are caving until it stops. It's quieter now. The blasts are muffled, and the absurdity hits him. He's fighting people who look like him, who eat rice like him, who celebrate Lunar New Year like him. North Korean soldiers and their Chinese allies. How did he even end up here in the middle of a war at the North-South Korea border, trapped inside a tunnel? An enemy tunnel like the ones the lieutenant told them about, built by the Chinese, branching out like an old oak where the enemy can crawl out right behind them. Just a few months ago, he was with his mother and his sister, working, delivering water in Busan, waiting for Appa to come. Now his hands are shaking so hard, Myung-gi can't even recognize them. I'm going to stop here for a moment. The word is Appa, which is father in Korean. Okay, so when you hear he's waiting for Appa to come, it's his father. Okay, let's continue. The barrage outside echoes against the rock walls. He wonders how the Chinese could dig such an intricate underground passageway without large machinery, using only hand tools. Myung-gi tries to stand, but he can't. The shaft is only 4 feet wide and 5 feet tall. He takes a deep breath. The air is stale. There are strange smells like burning pine and petroleum and deep earth. When something putrid close enough to get in the back of his throat where he can taste it. He spits on the ground, but it's still in there, up his nostrils, in his mouth, filling his sinuses. At least he's sheltered from the pinging bullets. That's what he keeps telling himself anyway, and slowly his shaky breath begins to steady. Not for long, because he hears them somewhere deep in the tunnel, voices shouting, pistols firing and screaming, grown men screaming. His fellow South Korean soldiers must have found another entrance, slipped inside, and now fighting the enemy, hand to hand, in the dark. Myung-gi shudders so hard he has to lean away from the sharp, stony walls. He gropes around like a blind person. There are sharp objects on the rocky ground. Garbage, too, maybe. He tosses a crumpled paper to the side. Then he feels his belt, feels the sheath, and pulls out the only weapon he has left. Myung-gi thumbs the edge of his sharp blade, then puts it back inside its case. God, please don't make me use it. Above, artillery pieces shell the hill, and the earth breaks. Myung-gi's head snaps back, hits the rock wall, jolts back into place, and it's as if the giant hand of God just took the boy out of him. Myung-gi, yeah, 16, is still a boy, too young to fight, Uma had argued. Not for this war, he had shot back. Any age will do, especially if you lie about it, even if they know you're lying about it. I'm living proof of that. But now, sorry, Uma, I haven't been a good son. Uma means mother. You told me not to enlist, told me this was not a good way to find Appa, told me this was not who I was. Now, this is who I am, a recruit in the South Korean army, buried inside an enemy tunnel, about to die. And I don't know how my plans went so wrong. So, beginning chapter is 1952, and he is 16. When you begin chapter 2, you're going to see that he is 9 years old. So we're going to go back in time and hear about how he got to where he was. If you want to hear more, you're going to need to check the book out at your public library or grab a copy on your Libby app. If you don't have one, all you need is a library card, and you can create an app and get books that way for free. I'm so glad that you were able to join me this week for First Chapter Friday. If you have any suggestions for any books that you would like to hear, I would love it if you would drop me a comment on my YouTube channel, and I'll try to make it happen. Until then, happy reading, and I'll see you next Friday.